Hey, what's up, everybody? Well, this is going to be another album review of a band that a lot of you have probably never heard of. And, and given that this band is very eclectic, and changes their style, has had a progression over the lifespan of this band and changing their style and somewhat, it's going to be interesting to say the least to describe to describe this album, because this is, if you compared this album with their first album, you would think it was a completely different band. Like, you would have no clue that it was the same band, not even remotely close. But I'm going to give it a shot anyway. And that band is Aborym. Aborym, and they are or at least when they started out, they were basically like an industrial black metal band based out of Italy. And like I said, initially the band was pretty much straightforward black metal, industrial black metal. Kind of just adapted their own style to it, and actually are one of my initially one, for those albums are definitely one of my favorite bands that came after the first few waves of black metal bands, and added something different to it, and made it kind of fresh again and new, but still very enjoyable and very intense. Absolutely intense, and really, just kind of that dystopian, grim. Like I said, the industrial and electronic elements just created a really interesting soundscape. So basically, through like the first four albums, you had basically that industrial black metal type style. And the most notable member of the band would be, at least for the three of those four albums, would be Attila, that you would know mostly from Mayhem fame. He did the vocals. I think he shared vocals on the first album, and then the other two he was the main vocalist. And those four albums are pretty much in the industrial black metal camp. And then after that, they started to kind of get a little bit weird in a way. I do think, two of those albums also had Faust, who was the an original drummer for Emperor, another famous black metal band. But something happened. Some gay dude came onto him, and he stabbed the guy and killed him, and ended up doing time in jail. So, but he's on this album Generator, and the album Psycho Grotesque. And Psycho Grotesque is where they really move off into the experimental. There's still, kind of that black metal feel to it, but it's more electronic feel. Psycho Grotesque is a concept album, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's got a little bit of that kind of that cryptic type of lyrics and content, so I haven't really deciphered exactly what the whole thing is about. But I mean, you've got songs that are basically they've got like an electronic thing going on. Even you have this one weird one where it's almost got like an ambient type, kind of one of those, drawn out endings to one of the songs, and you actually have a music box at the end playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, dun, 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 over and over. So it's interesting. And then after that, you had the album Dirty, which had a far more of the electronic element to it. Though still some of the, the really fast tremolo picking, really distorted guitar type sound, and the harsh vocals by the current vocalist, and basically the founder of the band. His stage name is Malfater Faban, or Faban, or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's his stage name. And then, so yeah, you still had a transition away from the initial style. There was way more of the electronic element in it. So now, after that, that little introduction to the band and kind of some background info, because like I said, they're not that well known. especially if you don't listen to a lot of extreme metal or black metal and stuff. Even in black metal, there may be people that aren't aware of the band. But the new album, Shifting.Negative, is it's a huge departure, even from the previous album, because it's just basically clean vocals, which it never. I mean, there was maybe a sprinkling of it in the last couple of albums more than the original few albums that were just all Attila doing his black metal vocals. But now it's just, I mean, it's still eclectic, and it's really hard. I mean, it's hard. It would be hard to sum up the style of the whole album, because it's very I don't know. It's so varied. It's very diverse in its approach to a lot of things. I mean, there's not really two songs that sound extremely similar, I would say. But I mean, I get a lot of a Nine Inch Nails vibe, even though I'm not I've never really been a big Nine Inch Nails fan. So I may be a little bit off in describing it as that, but the impression that I get, it would be more like it's very more rock, hard rock, but not in a traditional bluesy sense, more of a, the more metallic equivalent of rock. But it has a 90s alt rock, alt metal type vibe to it. Even bands like Filter and whatnot. Those are more. I mean, if this was released in the 90s, when the kind of the alt rock stuff was getting a little bit heavier, it would you definitely would hear it getting radio play on like a college radio station that was playing that kind of music. So yeah, I mean, I would have to basically go song by song and break it down, and that's quite a big endeavor when it comes to a band that that nobody knows. It's I'm not really sure it's worth it. Yeah, so I'm disappointed that in one respect that they moved so far away from their roots of the music they were originally creating. But like I said, I have to tip my hat to them for having the cojones to, branch out. Because I mean, that's kind of what they did initially. Anyway, they took the black metal stylings of the Norwegian black metal scene and incorporated their own elements into it and made it something unique. So that's kind of their hallmark, is that they are willing to experiment. Psychogrotesque is a big departure. Dirty was okay. It was kind of an average album. But this one, yeah, they've gone way further, which makes me wonder, what exactly are they going to do on their next album? I mean, if they continue this way and strip down they definitely have stripped down all the extreme metal elements. So yeah, I mean, there's still a slight kind of electronic element to it, but it's far more, like I said, more kind of gritty, dirty type of alt rock, alt metal going on there with clean vocals, and there's some more subdued moments where there's the vocals are a little bit softer, and there's they're more interested in the melody and whatnot. So it's definitely, it's not, I wouldn't call it commercial, because that's kind of a cliche thing to say, but this is a kind of album that in the right time frame as far as musical trends go. Like I said, like back in the 90s, it could have gotten some attention from a bigger audience than they would ever had with their the initial approach they took to their music. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a crappy review. I apologize for that, because it's hard. Their last few albums are very difficult to describe. Psychogrotesque would probably take me 20-30 minutes to describe all of what's going on in that album. It's a concept album too, like I said. Yeah, I mean, if you are into not, I don't know if I could say avant-garde, but more a little more eclectic, a little bit more, kind of quirky in their approach to writing, and you're not really into the really heavy stuff. But you want to try something different in the realm of, like I said, more of the alternative style. That you don't have to, if you don't like the extreme metal vocals and that kind of stuff turns you off. This might be an album up your alley. Like I said, if you listen to this and you listen to the first album, Kali Yuga Bazaar, which came out in '99, so almost 20 years removed. Yeah, you would think that these two this was two bands that came out with this. So that this album here is going to be the only type of its kind in their catalog that you're going to find. So, and if you're only a fan of their heavier, black metal stuff, and the more electronic industrial, grim stuff, this is probably going to, and you're not really a fan of the more mellowed out alternative type style, then this is probably not going to be a very enjoyable album for you. I'm not overly thrilled about it. Like I said, they've always kept more of that kind of grim, harshness to it. Even on the last album, that was still there. So I was kind of disappointed in that regard. But it's not. I can't say it's a bad album. That would be unfair and not accurate. I would probably give it. If I was being generous, and kind of trying to be a little open minded, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. But yeah, so those of you that, like I said, are more into the alt rock, alt metal type stuff, that want to try something different, that's got a lot of variety in it, and you might find something that's, that you click with. Yeah, you might want to check this album out. The band is Aborym, Aborym. The album is Shifting.Negative. The way it's spelled out, it's shifting dot negative. And yeah, it's out right now on Agonia. Must be an Italian label. They were on Season of Mist, which is a pretty familiar label for those that are into, into the heavier metal type stuff. That's a pretty old label. But yeah, Agonia, Agonia. It is out now. So yeah, I would, if you want to be a little adventurous and try something different, and you're into the rock and metal thing, then yeah, give it a shot. You might find you like it. Okay, I'm be coming back with a new album review soon. I'm not sure who it's gonna be. I guess I'm gonna mention something before I leave here, because it's better to just do it now than to make separate reviews. I was under the impression that the new Sanctuary release was actually going to be a new album, but it's actually a release of demos and some other stuff the music was was written and supposed to come before their debut album. So it's not really stuff that I want to review, because it's, like I said, it's just kind of stuff that they found and remastered. So it's a lot like their old style. So if you like Sanctuary, you'll like it. I mean, it was nothing, out of the ordinary. And then the Annihilator release that I thought was going to be a new album, but it's basically just acoustic covers of their old stuff, their previous material. So, I mean, like I said, and it's acoustic, and Annihilator's a thrash band. And, I was, it was okay. I mean, if you're a big Annihilator fan, you'll probably like it. But, metal songs, especially, in general, can have some pretty hokey lyrics. They're not really you can get away with, because you're playing heavy fucking music, and like you can get, it's acceptable if it's not all that great. I mean, Rob Halford's written some pretty abysmal lyrics that he got away with because the song was good. So yeah, when you strip the metal aspect, the distorted guitars and all that away, and you're acoustically, and you're trying to, and you're more inclined to experiment with the vocals a little bit with it. Yeah, there was some moments where I was getting a little bit of douche chills, I must say. So, but if you're an Annihilator fan, you'll probably like it. But I didn't want to bother reviewing either one of those because I want to stick with more, actually new material. But those, like I said, those albums are both out, and I was incorrect in my assumption that they were brand new. I was looking forward to Sanctuary putting out material. God damn, that was that was like going to be Christmas come early, but I guess I'll have to wait, and I guess I'll have to do some more investigating to see if they are working on a new album. I hope they are, because The Year the Sun Died is one of the best metal albums in recent memory. All right, well, that should do it. All right, I'll stop here before I get going too much further. That's all I wanted to say on that. So, yep, I will see you next time with a new album review. Take it easy.